Hello, this is Ashee from Crafting with Ashee and welcome to this video. Thank you for dropping by. This is the project we're making today. It's this lovely box and this uses shaded spruce and real red, and as I show you inside you can actually fit envelope and you can fit cards in here, and so this is a great size box to give as a gift with a set of handmade cards and envelopes. What a lovely Christmas gift to give someone. So I don't know if you can see here on the sentiment here, this is stamped in real red, but there is a shine to the sentiment. It's not really picking it up on camera, and I'll show you. What I've done is I've stamped in real red and then let that dry, and then over the top I've stamped again using Versamark clear ink and then heat embossed with clear embossing powder, and it just gives that sentiment a little bit of something. So I'm going to show you how to do that first, and then we're going to move on to make our box. So the sentiment I'm going to use is from Joy to You, and it's this one here that says sending good tidings in the season of joy. And I've got everything set up here in my stamping tool. So initially I'm going to stamp this time in Blueberry Bushel because we're doing a different colourway ink. So let's stamp. Get it really nicely inked up. And then down, and I'm going to stamp it again just to make sure they're getting good impression. Give it a bit of welly. I'm going to do it one more time because I want a really deep colour on this. There we go, perfect. So close that up, leave my stamp set and everything as it is in the Stamparatus, but I'm going to give it a clean, just using my simple chamois, and then just give it a bit of a dry up as well, just using a cloth. Now I just want to make sure that this is dry, so all I'm going to do is hit it for a few seconds with my heat tool just to make sure that it is properly dry. There we go. Now that's dry, it's not smudging, that's fine. We're going to then use our embossing buddy all over here. And then we're going to use some Versamark ink. Got quite a lot of powder on this, so I'm just going to move some of it. Give it a good press down. And then I'm going to go in for a second go. And then down, give it a really good press all over. There we are. Now I'm going to remove my card from here, but I'm going to leave my stamp set in here, my ink, my stamp, in case I need to come back. And I'm going to bring in my clear embossing powder, which is here, and we're just going to cover our image in powder. You can see that that's actually worked really well. You can't see it on the camera, but I can see there that it's nicely covered in powder. Lovely. So now we're just going to heat set this. Okay, so now we're ready to make our box. and we're going to do it a different colourway. So this time I've got a piece of balmy blue cardstock here that measures 10 3/4 inches by 9 inches, and we're going to score at 2 inches on all sides. It's a really simple scoring. 2, twist, 2, and final 2. So that will be your base. Then for the lid, I've got a piece here of blueberry bushel cardstock, and this measures 7 1/16 by 8 3/16, and it's a bit of a funny measurement just so you can get it fitting on top, and you're going to score here on all sides at 1 inch. All these measurements will be on the blog post on my website along with the supply list, and you can find that in the description box below. So there we are. We have our base. Now we're just going to fold on all of our score lines. So I'll just get my bone folder out here. And we're just going to fold on all of these score lines. Bone folder is so invaluable for doing things like this, a good bone folder. Unfortunately, all bone folders are not created equal. So that's our lid. So let's do the same for our base. And then there we have. So that's folded and scored. So time to do some cutting. So I'm going to start with our base, and with it in the horizontal or landscape view like this, we're going to cut along the score line up to the score line, and then we're going to cut just to do what I call a little mitre cut. So here on the little tab, we're just going to cut a tiny piece out at an angle, just like that, see? And we're going to do that on both sides, and we're going to do this for all 4 tabs here and all 4 tabs on the base, the lid. So up to the score line, along the score line, mitre cut and mitre cut. So I'm going to get on and do this, and I'll see you when I'm finished. Okay, so we've done that for our base and our lid. So now it's time to actually form our box. So here on the base, you can see here it's going to fold in like this. So on the opposite side, on these 4 tabs, we are going to put glue, and I'm going to use some Tombow. You need a strong glue for this. I don't feel steel would be strong enough. Steel Plus would be okay, but not steel itself. You could also use tear and tape, would be good for this, but you do need a strong glue. I prefer the Tombow mono adhesive liquid glue because it gives me a little bit of wriggle room to help me fold my box and stop me making mistakes. So now you're going to fold your tab in to meet the side wall like that. Fold this up, and you just want to make sure everything here is squared off and straight. Okay, so let's do it again. Fold your tab in, bring this up just like that, and do the same here, and last one, just like that, and just pinch it, make sure it's there, and there you have the base of your box. Isn't that cool? So let's take our lid, and before we form it, we want to put our designer series paper down, and I've got this beautiful blue with the white dots that looks almost like snowfall, and this is why I, as you can see, chose that colour for my base. So we're just going to put this down, and this paper comes from the Merry and Bold and Bright. Here you can see the Merry, Bold and Bright designer series paper, and the other one I will have used is also the walk in the forest with me. Okay, so let's put that down like that. Isn't that cute? And now the same thing we're going to do with our little tabs here. Glue on all 4 little tabbies. Lovely. And exactly the same thing. Fold your tab in to meet the side wall and keep everything nicely squared off. And this is why you cut those mitre cuts at an angle, so that everything will square off nicely and nothing hopefully will stick out. So bring it down to the base, meet your corners and keep that nicely squared off. Right. It didn't want to stick, so just give it a pinch, it will. And then the last one in, again, keep it squared off, keep it squared off. There's your lid. So I'm going to just put this on top of our box. There, we've got it. Beautiful, really pretty. So set that aside for now, and we're going to bring back our heat embossed image, which is dried off. Isn't that lovely? And you can maybe see on the camera it has a lovely shine to it. Okay, so on my original I did use some dies to cut out, but I didn't like that, so I'm just going to use my trimmer. I like cutting out just with my trimmer. It works well, I find. And if you learn to cut out with the trimmer, it really makes things so much easier in a way. You don't need to rely on lots of different other things. So there we have our lovely sentiment. Get rid of the trimmer. Now we can kind of mat this either on blueberry bushel, or I think it's going to have to be blueberry bushel because that's not going to show up so well. Or we could do something very different. What do you think here? And do red? Yeah, let's do some real red. Let's live on the wild side and introduce another colour. And this is actually going to work nicely for my embellishment. Okay, so put some glue on the back here and just going to stick it in the corner here, even as best as I can. Now you can use your trimmer to do that, to cut this out. I'm just going to do it, live on that wild side again, and do it with my scissors. I will say, when I first started to do it with a scissor like this, I was petrified. I couldn't cut straight. I was going to make a mess. And yep, I did make a mess. But the more you practice, the better you get at it. And it's so freeing to just be able to cut like that and not have to measure everything. So look at that. Isn't that cute? So let's stick this down with some lovely Tombow. You could pop this up as well if you so wished on dimensionals. I'm going to leave it flat. I'm going to just do like that in the centre. So pretty. And you can see here our original one there. And then we're going to add our little embellishments. So I have here some of the loose holly gems and sequins. And I'm going to put a few into my little triangle tray so I can see them more easily. And let's put some glue down where we're going to want them. Okay, and then take your pick tool. It's always handy for something like this. So I'm going to pick up one of these lovely holly leaves and just stick it down. And just give them time to dry because they are quite shiny. And the glue really needs to take time to set. And I'm going to add one of these little I'm bringing them right back up again because I've got glue on my fingers, but yeah, they will take, as you can tell. So there we have box number 1. Box number 2, tell me which colour combo you prefer. I love the idea of clear heat embossing on top of our coloured inks. I think it just adds that extra level of interest and makes it just something extra special, as heat embossing always does to any project. So thank you for watching, and as I said, all the information is on the blog post. If you enjoyed the video, I'd be grateful if you could give it a thumbs up so YouTube know, and please don't forget to subscribe to future videos. So until next time, enjoy being creative. Bye.